So the first thing, I was born in Kandy in 1979 on the 20th March in the Kandy Hospital. My mother was a teacher. My father was a bus driver. My father then went abroad and he was earning money. He was in United Arab Emirates, UAE, Saudi Arabia. So he was working in intercontinental hotels and he was sending money home. That's what I know. Anyway, he came back. I can remember even bringing him back from the airport. I can even remember I was very, very young, but I still can remember the melody or the music that was played on the way back in the cab or in the vehicle that we came on. Anyway, after coming back, my father had some wealth in terms of in Sri Lanka. They have some prestige. They have some status in different towns, and he had like a mansion that belonged to his father, who was a very, very wealthy person. He owned a lot of land in Peradeniya in Kandy, but he had 7 kids, and it was divided amongst most of them. But the house, according to the culture in Sri Lanka, goes to the youngest son. So my father was the youngest son, so he got the ownership with some land, acres of land actually. But after a few years of marriage, when I was 7 years old, they got divorced, my mother and my father. Don't know what happened. They split up, and my mother took me and my sister, who was 5 years younger than me. So she was only 2 years old. I was 7 years old, and ran away or went away. She didn't have a place to stay, and we were on the road. So she was a teacher, so she earned about, in today's conversion rate, it was about $10 a month, which was a okay salary at the time. I'm talking 1986-ish. So she spoke to her friends and found a place to stay, which was a very, very small hut kind of a house, which wasn't secured. And especially back in Sri Lanka back then, a single mum couldn't live alone. People try to, disturb, try to come and, have relationships and things like that. So it was a very, very hard time. She moved from house to house. I think she has moved to at least 20 houses, minimum 20 houses so far in her life. And most of them, we were with her when she moved. Anyway, so that was the story. Then we struggled so much. I can remember at one stage when I was a kid, she used to do 5 jobs to earn money. And I went to one of the best schools in Sri Lanka, was a private school. And she never hesitated to pay school fees or for our education. So that was one reason why she had to do 5 jobs. She was a teacher. She was giving tuition. She had boarders in the house. She made marshmallows and sold it she distributed into some of the shops, and she made food at home and charged for it. So she did a lot of things, but she was hardworking and she did her job, and that's how she managed to spend for our school fees, for our books, stationery, etc. It was a hard life. I can remember sometimes I wanted to eat more, but there was only a certain amount of food that we could eat, because she did not waste any food. She did not have, it was 4 slices of bread each day with either dal or something like that. It was just one thing. It was a hard life, but I'm sure there are worse cases. So I'm not complaining, but we went through that scenario, that that period in life. I can remember sometimes when I was going to school, we had to go alone. So I was very young. was going to school. Sometimes I took the bus, sometimes I walked. It was a few kilometers from my house, at least 2, 3, maybe 3 kilometers from my house to my school. I went to Trinity College. Candy is one of the. It's an English school. It's founded at least 200 years ago, 1972, I think it was 1872. Yeah, if I remember right. But anyway, so I used to. There was sometimes she gave me 2 rupees. That's about, I don't know, 1/3 of a cent. So that's how much she gave me, and it was 1 rupee for the bus, one way. So return 2 rupees, and that's all she gave me. So sometimes I walked to save 1 rupee, and sometimes I, because I couldn't eat anything else from the shop, which I wanted to. Sometimes even I wanted to buy chewing gum and things like that as a kid, and sweets maybe. So I saved that 1 rupee and then bought something instead and walked. So that was how I saved money back then. Anyway, that was that period of time, and I can remember once. We couldn't afford the college canteen food, and I used to love eclairs at the time. I used to look at kids eating eclairs. I couldn't afford it. It was 5 rupees back then. I still love eclairs because of that desire that I had when I was a kid. But I used to spend time like that. I was one of the poorest kids in school. I don't know about others, but I know that there were many kids from rich parents. So they brought a lot of food, meat, and meat was maybe once a month. If we are lucky, we had some chicken, and that was it. If there was some function, maybe like a birthday, maybe there was a small piece of chicken that we could eat. Otherwise, it's vegetables. And that was the life I spent as a kid. I don't know if I missed anything at school. I was a bright school kid actually, because my mom was a teacher. She taught me well. When I was a kid, actually, in Trinity College, Candy, there was no. There were 3 sections, as in they had the Tamil section where they taught everything in Tamil medium. So 3 mediums. The Sinhala medium, which was the popular one because 80% of the Sri Lankans are Sinhalese, at least back then. And there was the international medium, which is English medium. But the Sinhala medium was full, so there was no vacancies for that. So I was put into the international medium, which is English medium, which costed more money. But my mum or my father, I don't know who, but they didn't care about that. So they were actually happy that it was international medium, and therefore I learned English more than others who were studying in Sinhala or Tamil mediums, because everything was taught in English and the teachers were really good. My mum taught mathematics at the time, so she taught me maths at home as well. So I was doing well in studies. I can remember when I was at year 6, I became the top of the class. I was at year 5, I was second in the class. At year 4, I was third in the class. So I improved up to year 6 and became first top of the class for the first time. I got a lot of prizes. I pretty much always got the maths prize, and can remember getting 4 prizes or 5 when I was in year 6. Anyway, that was a school time.